shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news. One person is dead after an overnight crash in Apex, while crews remain at that scene this morning.
And it's the first day of fall, but it may feel awfully warm, especially as we get through the next couple of days. I'll show you why our temperatures are trending upward.
Plus, arena upgrades. The Lenovo Center renovations could mean a new outside look. What state lawmakers are expected to discuss this week about the funding. I'm Laura Levine. Thanks for joining us here on your Monday morning, filling in for Renee Chu today. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. And Elizabeth, it's the first official day of fall, but it certainly doesn't feel like it.
Now, it's nice and mild out there. We do have clear skies right now. There may be a little bit of patchy cloud cover this morning, but for the most part, it's going to be just a very pleasant day. Temperatures will be near normal, which puts us in the low 80s, so it'll be comfortable. Our dew point is in the low 60s, which isn't too bad. Well, that keeps it still in the nice category. 61 degrees as you're heading out the door in Cary this morning. It's 61 in Raleigh and Fayetteville, 58 in South Hill, as well as Rocky Mount and Goldsboro. So feeling comfortable this morning. Our temperature at lunchtime right there at 75, and we'll see a high of 83 this afternoon. So feeling good. A quick look at the tropics. Of course, we're tracking Gabrielle, which became a hurricane yesterday, and it may become a Cat 3 by the end of the day today, but it is away from Bermuda and well out into the Atlantic. There are two other systems that we're watching, which we'll take a look at coming up.
Elizabeth, thank you. Now to that breaking news this morning in Apex. In the last 15 minutes, police responded to and reopened US 64 between US 1 and Salem Street. A deadly crash had the road shut down for hours. The car involved is still tangled in the woods. WRAL's Ali Katlabar is in the WRAL breaking news tracker at that scene. And Ali, we know the road is open, but the cleanup is far from finished.
Laura, we know that there's an officer still on the scene here. This is US 64 by Sherwood Vineyard Drive, and behind that officer in that wooded area is where that car still is. They are waiting for crews to come and cut down trees right now, but this is video from around 2:30 this morning. The car is buried in that wooded area. Tow truck crews tried to get it out about an hour ago, but they couldn't. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured this video of the car's tracks before the crash. It happened around 10:30 last night. Police on the scene tell us that at least one person died. Listen to this broadcastify radio traffic of the moments crews were sent to find the crashed car.
Here I'm out to US 64 Shepherd's Vineyard. We have a caller on the line that's speaking to her son that's involved in a motor vehicle accident with several patients, one possible ejection.
Again, we know that one person did die from this crash. We're working to find out how many people were involved, if there was any injuries, and what led up to this crash. We have reached out to Apex Police. Reporting live in Apex, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
This morning, 7 teenagers who escaped from a mental health facility in Raleigh are back at the hospital. Raleigh police say they got a call around 8 last night about a disturbance between some of the residents at Holly Hills South Campus. That's when they learned the 7 teens had escaped. Officers, Wake County Sheriff's deputies, State Capitol Police, along with canines and a drone in the sky, searched for over 3 hours. The teens were found around 11 p.m. We're still working to learn how they escaped. Now, this is at least the third escape from Holly Hills since 2024. WRAL has done a number of investigative pieces on the escapes, violations, and standards of care that could have prevented previous escapes and state investigations. You can find all of our previous coverage on our website, WRAL.com, and in the WRAL News app. Well, happening today, classes resume at UNC Wilmington for the first time since the report of a shooter on campus. The school's campus was closed on Friday. The university was on lockdown Thursday night after threats circulated on campus. Now, UNCW's chancellor shared a message ahead of the return to class. The university says students can expect to see more police officers on campus. UNC Chapel Hill has also increased security following false threats. UNC police have increased patrols on campus out of an abundance of caution. Right now, let's take a live look now from the state legislative building. This morning, WRAL has learned details of a tough on crime bill the state legislature plans to pass next week. This bill is a response to a deadly stabbing in Charlotte last month that made national news. It's named after the victim, 23-year-old Irina Zarutska, who had fled here from Ukraine. The bill will eliminate cashless bail in North Carolina and make it easier to commit people to mental hospitals. It will also make it harder for convicted murderers who are sentenced to death to appeal their conviction or their sentencing. The bill makes a number of other changes as well. For more details, you can head over to WRAL.com. Lawmakers are expected to spar over health care funding this week. North Carolina is short millions of dollars for Medicaid as the state legislature has been unable to pass a new budget. But while everyone seems to agree there's an issue, no one agrees on how to fix it. Democratic Governor Josh Stein says the state needs $819 million. Republicans in State House are proposing $792 million, and Republicans in the state Senate are proposing $690 million. But also possibly caught up in this debate, well, a new proposal to ban people on Medicaid from coverage for GLP-1 drugs for weight loss, and a continued fight over state funding for a new children's hospital. More on all the details throughout the day. You can head over again to WRAL.com. New this morning, the Lenovo Center renovations could include upgrades outside in addition to inside. State lawmakers are back this week and expected to discuss arena funding. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at the Lenovo Center this morning. Kelsey, lawmakers have been floating this plan that would put millions into infrastructure improvements. The Lenovo Center could benefit from this.
Yes, Laura, today we could get one step closer to finding out how state funds could bring big changes here to the Lenovo Center. Now, we've been keeping you updated on plans for some major upgrades. Check out these renderings. They showcase plans for a $1 billion redevelopment project around the arena. State lawmakers are discussing a proposal that could contribute millions to this new design. Sources tell our NC Capitol team the proposal could include $35 million for infrastructure improvements. They didn't say which project, but several are in the works around the state, from Asheville to Chapel Hill and the Lenovo Center here in Raleigh. This money is not guaranteed as lawmakers battle over funding priorities.
Anything that's going to come out of the legislature is going to have to be a compromise between two chambers that haven't seen much reason to compromise up to this point. And so even if this proposal were introduced, there's no sense that it would definitely pass.
That was WRAL Sports investigative reporter Ryan Murphy, who's been following this story closely. To stay up to date on what happens next, head to WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
This morning, we are working to learn more information about a deadly shooting in Rocky Mount. One person is dead and 4 others are in the hospital. This happened on Benvenue Road between Bridgewood Road and Sunset Drive yesterday morning. One neighbor who lives near where the shooting happened says he heard shouting and a fight before the gunfire. We're working to learn the conditions of the people still at the hospital, as well as the names of all of the victims and what led up to this shooting. The Wake County Fire Marshal's office is investigating an explosion that led to a house fire. Investigators say this happened on Old Bunch Road, north of Wendell, just before 10 yesterday morning. Our breaking news tracker got this video near the house. You can see a Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives investigator at that scene. No injuries were reported. Investigators are working to determine what caused this explosion. We now know the name of the person killed in a fiery crash that closed the Wade Avenue ramp of I-40 East. Police say 22-year-old Connor Newell died. They say witnesses saw his car drive off the road and hit a bridge pillar before catching fire. This happened around 10 a.m. yesterday. Police are still working to learn what led up to this crash. It's been 12 days since conservative activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated during an event on the campus of Utah Valley University. Yesterday, tens of thousands gathered in Glendale, Arizona for his memorial service. Lines of mourners wrapped around the block to get in the State Farm Stadium. President Trump is among several high-profile Republican leaders speaking at the memorial for the murdered political activist. Trump talked about the shooting being an attack on the entire nation.
That was a horrible attack on the United States of America. It was an assault on our most sacred liberties and God-given rights. The gun was pointed at him. but the bullet was aimed at all of us. That bullet was aimed at every one of us.
Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, of course, she also spoke at this memorial, saying that she forgave her husband's shooter and that she believes Charlie did not suffer.
I also saw on his lips the faintest smile, and that told me something important. It revealed to me a great mercy from God in this tragedy. When I saw that, it told me Charlie didn't suffer.
Now, FBI Director Kash Patel posted a lengthy update on the investigation into alleged shooter Tyler Robinson yesterday. He promised the FBI is meticulously investigating theories and questions about the case. Authorities in New Hampshire say the man accused in a deadly shooting at a country club is a former employee. 23-year-old Hunter Nadeau was arrested shortly after the shooting Saturday night at the Sky Meadow Country Club. That's where police say they found a 59-year-old man dead at the host stand out front. Now, 2 other people are in the hospital and 4 others were hurt. The state's attorney general says investigators are still searching for a motive. Your time now here is 4:40. Presidential meeting. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will meet with President Trump this week. What they're expected to discuss. Plus, deadline approaching. 8 counties impacted by Chantal are eligible for federal assistance. The last day to apply for federal loans. And it's the first official day of fall, but summer is putting in overtime. Just ahead, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on TV explains when we could see more 90-degree heat.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:44, and it's pleasant as you step out the door. 58 in Wilson right now, 61 in Durham, and in Fayetteville. Our skies are mostly clear to partly cloudy, and it's going to be a very comfortable day today. But our wind that starts to come out of the south-southwest is going to really warm things up for us. We're going to see temperatures in the 90s for a couple of days around the middle of the week. And I know today's the first day of fall, and we're all ready for some cooler temperatures. But we'll talk about what happens later in the week coming up. Our Monkey Meter sits at 60, which is between tolerable and comfy, so it's not too bad. If you're planning to head out the door for some exercise this morning, temperatures will be in the low 60s, and the humidity is not terrible. And this afternoon doesn't feel too bad either, with highs in the low 80s. I'll show you which days we climb all the way up into the 90s coming up.
Elizabeth, thank you. New this morning, heads of state are gathering in New York City today for the UN General Assembly. Ukraine's president says he's set to meet with President Donald Trump while he's here. Amy Kiley reports on the pressure coming from Russia ahead of this meeting.
There's no restraint on Putin right now.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's meeting with President Donald Trump this week as U.S.-Russian tensions rise. He says they'll talk on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York. Their meeting comes as Trump says he will defend the Baltic states and Poland from Russia if necessary. That statement before Charlie Kirk's memorial yesterday follows Russian incursions into NATO airspace. Those include flying jets over Estonian territory Friday and drones over Polish and Romanian land earlier this month.
Zelensky has spent 3.5 years making the argument that Putin will not stop at Ukraine, and I think he'll be able to make that even more forcefully and to push for a clear position from Trump on getting tough on Russia.
Article 5 of the NATO treaty says an attack on one member state is an attack on all of them.
Sooner or later, if this kind of provocation happens, we're going to have some kind of incident that will prompt a crisis. And that crisis will force President Trump, I suspect, to think about which side they want to take.
Article 5 requires alerting the UN Security Council. Today, that group is holding an emergency meeting at Estonia's request.
Tensions are running very high. NATO and the European allies grappling with the very real risk as these attacks escalate of this conflict spreading.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The U.S. and Russia are both permanent members of the UN Security Council. Russia denies its jets entered Estonian airspace on Friday. This week may be your last chance to apply for federal disaster loans if your business or property was damaged during Chantal. Homeowners, renters, and business owners in 8 counties are eligible to apply for federal financial assistance through the Small Business Administration, including Wake, Durham, and Orange. Businesses and nonprofits may borrow up to $2 million for the repair or replace property. Homeowners may apply for up to $500,000 for their repairs and construction. They can receive up to $100,000 for damage damaged personal property as well. Tuesday is the deadline to apply, and for more details, you can visit WRAL.com. Happening today, the Durham Board of Commissioners will vote on funding to upgrade the Lincoln Community Health Center. County commissioners are considering $591,000 for the project. If approved, the funding would cover repairs and replacements to the facility, originally built in 1982. The center serves those who are uninsured in the Durham community. The commissioners' regular session meeting is today at 7 p.m. Hurricane Helene was North Carolina's most damaging storm, and now WRAL marks 1 year since the disaster with a new documentary focusing on families and communities changed forever. Helene caused catastrophic flooding and mudslides, wiping out more than 185,000 homes and leaving 108 families without their loved ones.
We're all missing a different piece. You know, some of us it's parents, some of us it's husbands, cousins, brothers, sister-in-laws, aunts, uncles. Some of us lost 2 people. Some lost 1. Some lost them all.
This documentary investigates why it's taking so long for the area to receive federal funds and the tolls that's taking on some towns. Helene, What We Lost, What We Found airs Thursday, September 25th on WRAL TV and streams on WRAL.com, the WRAL News app, and WRAL's YouTube channel. Well, now let's get straight over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. What a look at our forecast today. Elizabeth, starting off already a bit warm out there.
It is. It feels comfortable as you're heading out the door. This is a live look at Fenton and Cary. So heading out, our temperature is 61. Our dew point sitting at 60. So it may feel just a touch muggy to you, but it's not overwhelming like we see a lot of times in the summer. By 10 o'clock, it's 69, and our temperatures at lunchtime, not bad. We'll be in the mid to upper 70s. So if you wanted to eat your lunch outside or at least get in a walk, it should be fine. A lot of people, so happy to have the first day of fall here, but boy, we look ahead this week and we have some hot weather in our forecast. So the autumnal equinox happens when we see equal day, almost equal daylight and equal darkness. If you think about the earth being tilted toward the sun in the summer and then it's tilted away from the sun in the winter, today is the day that it's right in the middle. So that's why we have equal parts, and of course it signals some cooler air coming because we start to tilt away from the sun. 55 in Roxborough, 58 in Rocky Mount, and in South Hill, 61 in Fayetteville, 62 in Clinton right now. In the Triangle, it's 62 in Apex and Garner, as well as Knightdale, 61 in Chapel Hill and in Morrisville. So it's a comfortable start out there. What will happen next is high pressure will start to feed in some heat and some moisture from down south, so it starts to feel a little bit more tropical. Notice the blue shaded area, that's just below normal. Yellow is going to be just above normal, but it starts to turn orange as we see more of a shift to southwesterly, and we do have enough moisture in the atmosphere for some rain finally by the time we get toward the end of the week. Around town today, 83 in Raleigh and Durham, 85 in Fayetteville. That's not too far from normal. Our normal high is 81, but we're well above that Wednesday at 91, 90 on Thursday before we start to cool things down toward the end of the week. The average last 90-degree day of the year is September 12th, but the latest is October 10th, so we're not about to set any records there. But enjoy today. Again, we have the hot weather in place Wednesday and Thursday. The chance of rain goes up as we head toward Friday and a front approaches. I'll show you how much rain we could see and what the early timeline looks like.
Elizabeth, thank you. Celebrating Hispanic heritage. Coming up, we share how Raleigh's Hispanic community celebrated amid immigration concerns. And Hollywood Fizzle, the film sinking far below studio expectations on its debut weekend. Welcome back. One film fell short during its debut weekend, and the Directors Guild has a new president. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Do you want to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey?
Maybe he was right to hesitate. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey starring Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell made just $3.5 million in its debut weekend, far below studio expectations of $10 million. The drama, which opened to poor reviews, cost a reported $45 million to make.
I found the dramatic structure that I felt would really work for a movie.
Oppenheimer director Christopher Nolan is the new president of the Directors Guild of America. He was elected at the DGA's national convention. Nolan has been on the union's national board since 2015 and a member of the guild since 2001.
There you are. I was looking everywhere for you. I'll be your escort this evening.
The latest film in Studio Ghibli Fest 2025 is Howl's Moving Castle. The 2004 supernatural classic from Hayao Miyazaki is in theaters now through Wednesday. More info and tickets at ghiblifest.com. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Downtown Raleigh was buzzing this weekend for La Fiesta del Pueblo. The Hispanic festival has attracted thousands of people to the area for more than 30 years. But because of deportation concerns, Hispanic cultural events across the state and country have been canceled. Many visitors say that it was refreshing to see this festival continue as usual. Organizers tell us that the purpose of the event was to let people know that they are not alone. The Durham Arts Festival celebrated its 50th year. The festival is the city's signature fine arts festival, and the event showcased artists from across the country and local performers. Art shoppers could purchase ceramics, paintings, photography, jewelry, fiber art, glass, and more. Well, here's a look at what's ahead at 5. One person is dead after a crash in Apex. Why crews remain at that scene this morning. Plus, a Holly Hill escape. Multiple teenagers broke out of a mental health facility in Raleigh, where the investigation stands this morning.